Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Creative Watcher. In this particular video, I'm going to be showing you how you can add shadows to objects that doesn't have shadows and you want to like manipulate images. It's more of a photo manipulation. I'm going to show you how you can add shadows to images. Without any further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, as you can see, I have this ball here and I have this floor here. They are all in separate layers. Then this background is blurred out already. I want to add shadow to this ball and then make it look as though the ball is part of the image and the wood also is part of the image. Now, this is how we start. First things first, you need to understand that there is no shadow here and it has different light source. For example, there's light here, there's light on this ball here, and for the wood there's light here, there's light here. So you need to define a specific light source before you start adding shadows to something. So for this one that we want to create, I'm going to be adding the light source from here. So the light source will start like this. So I should create another layer so that I will show you. This is where the light source will stay. To start from here and then drop down to this part like this. Now let's get started. First things first is to bring your ball to this part here. Let's add shadow to our ball. Now the easiest way to add shadow to your ball is to double click on your basketball, go to drop shadow, set your drop shadow to 90 degrees. Set the opacity to about 73 and then set the spread to 76. So click OK. Now go to your layer here and then go to layer style, then come create layer. When you do that, it will ask you some aspects of the effect cannot be reproduced. Click don't show again, click OK. What this does is to separate your shadow from the layer. So now after that has been done, hold shift and bring this down and bring this here like this. Let's zoom in and press enter. It is looking real, but let's still bring this down a bit so that it will look more real. So now this is the first thing. Now name this one ball shadow. Then the next thing to do is to, since we already have a shadow here, how can we add a shadow to this place that can make it okay? This is where the light is coming from. Number one is to create a new layer, name it brush shadow, and then set your color to black. And go to your brush, set your brush to a soft round brush, then increase the size to about something like this, or maybe something like this. Then paint around it like this. Now right click and create a clipping mask, then paint down like this again. Now change your blend mode of that shadow to something like overlay. Press Ctrl J to duplicate and then click the first one to multiply. Right click and then create a clipping mask again. Then reduce the opacity, the feel, not the opacity, the feel of this one to something like this, 82%. Then zoom out. As you can see, we're already adding shadows and it's already looking very nice. Now let's add some effects to the ball itself. So add an adjustment layer, change it to brightness and contrast, and then click on this icon here to help you clip it inside. Then increase the brightness to something like this and increase the contrast to I think 27 is okay. Then close it. Now let's work on this drop shadow here. You see our shadow here is already nice, but this one under it is not very okay. So what you do is create a new layer under the ball, paste the brush once like this and then bring it down like this, then reduce it like this, size it down to something like this, because every shadow, the closer the object gets, the more darker it is. So it cannot just be straight dark like that. So you reduce it like this and then bring it like this. Press enter and zoom out. Now we have achieved a little bit of realism in this particular stuff. Come, let me zoom out. Let's name this one brush shadow again. Let's Ctrl J to duplicate and then zoom in. Take the shadow to the back like this and then reduce the opacity. Press enter and then zoom out. Now our shadow is looking very nice. So now let's zoom out. The next thing to do is to add some effect to wood itself, because it's not really looking very nice. The wood too also needs to get a shadow. Now create a new layer and then clip it into the wood and name it shadow for wood. Then go to your brush to increase your brush and then paint this side like this. Now reduce your opacity to about, let's say 50. Now create a new adjustment layer and go to levels. Make sure it's clipped too and press here. Then reduce it like this. Then zoom out. Now as you can see, it's already looking as though we're adding shadows to this stuff, to the image, and it's looking very real. Now we need to also add some kind of textures to make the stuff look very real. Now this is what we'll do. Go to your shadow for wood, press Ctrl J to duplicate, right click and create a clipping mask, and then change the opacity, the blend mode to overlay. Set the overlay fill, not the opacity now, to about 21%, and then let's add some brightness and contrast. So create an adjustment layer, go to brightness and contrast, click on this aspect here again, increase the brightness and then increase the contrast, something like this, increase the brightness again and then close it. Now you can see that it's looking very real. So now the next thing to do now is to make sure that there's shadow also in the background. Create a new adjustment layer, click on levels, then reduce the levels something like this and then close it. Then click on your mask. Sorry, let me close this. Then go to your brush, make sure you're on your mask and then paint this aspect here. Yeah, then reduce the feel of the levels, something like this. So it's looking very nice. If you want to go extra mile, you can go to your layer here and then hold shift, go to the beginning of all layers, press Ctrl G to group all of them. Let me delete these ones. No, I should leave down. So you just see all and then press Ctrl G. Now in that all, go to filter, convert it to smart filters and then take it to camera raw filter. Camera raw helps you, is a professional editing aspect of Photoshop that can help you, set things right. So go to basic, go to exposure, go to contrast, just play around with it. So I'm going to go to white, reduce the white a bit, I think it's too much. Go to highlight, make it lighter a bit. Texture, add some textures to the stuff so to look more real, and then go to, you can change the color, you can also manipulate the color by color grading it. So I can set my highlights to something like this, then set the shadows to something like this, and then set the highlight to something. And click OK. See that there's the difference. So this is how you can add shadows to objects that doesn't have shadow. Just understand the light source If you know that the light source is achieved, anything that you want to do will be very easy to achieve. If you want to get the PSD file for this particular work, click the link under the description to get it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more videos. I'm Creative Oche, and I'll catch you guys in the very next one.